So these are now going to be my 2022 playoff predictions, World Series winner predictions, as well as my award predictions. So I'll be doing Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, and MVP. So we'll start off with my playoff bracket. So just to briefly recap, that's how my playoff bracket will look to start off with. So in the National League, in the 1 seed, I'll have the Dodgers. In the 2 seed, I'll have the Braves. In the 3 seed, I'll have the Cardinals. 4 seed, the Brewers. 5 seed, the Mets. 6 seed, the Giants. And then in the American League, I've got the White Sox in the 1 seed. Reason for that being is that they were in a pretty weak division, in my opinion. In the 2 seed, I've got the Blue Jays. 3 seed, I've got the Mariners because I've got them winning the AL West. So they'll be facing the 6 seed Angels. And then in the 4 seed, I've got the Tampa Bay Rays. And in the 5 seed, I've got the Boston Red Sox. So those two teams will be rematching from this past playoffs. And this is how I foresee the playoffs, the wild card round going at least. So I have the Rays this time prevailing over the Red Sox. I just think their pitching is going to be too much. And I think that's why they're going to win. And then I've got the Angels beating the Mariners. I just call it wishful thinking. I just think that Trout and Ohtani are going to be too much, or at least it's what I'm hoping for. And I'm hoping they're going to get enough pitching, particularly out of their bullpen, to prevail over the Mariners. In the National League West, in the National League wild card round, I've got the Giants beating the Cardinals. So I just think the Giants pitching, particularly their starting rotation, is way better than the Cardinals, and I think that's going to help them get out of that series. And then I've also got the Brewers beating the Mets. I think the pitching on both sides, I've got 3 brilliant starters who will pitch, who will be the starters in that series. So for the Brewers, you got obviously Peralta, Woodruff, and their best one, Corbin Burns. For the Mets, you're going to have DeGrom, Scherzer, and Chris Bassett. But I just think the Brewers lineup is better than the Mets lineup. So I think that's going to carry them through. And so then in the next round, I'm going to have in the National League a rematch between the Dodgers and the Braves. So that's pretty boring, I suppose. But yeah, I just think that they're the 2 best teams in the National League. I think the Braves are going to be too much for the Giants, which sucks for me to say as a Giants fan. But yeah, their lineup's just going to be too strong. And the start of their rotation is just as good as the Giants. And for me, their bullpen is better. So I think, overall the Braves are better than the Giants, and I think they're going to win. And then I think the Dodgers will beat the Brewers simply because they're a better team. They're just stacked everywhere. And I think they've got the pitching that will match up pretty well with the Brewers. It's not quite the Brewers' rotation, but their lineup is just going to be too superior. And I think it's going to get to the Brewers' pitching. In the American League side, I will have the White Sox beating the Rays. Again, I think their starting pitching is better. And their bullpen, I think the White Sox bullpen is better. At least it definitely is on paper. And they've got a better lineup, from top to bottom. So I think the White Sox will prevail. And then the Blue Jays will beat the Angels. I think the Blue Jays have got arguably the best lineup in the American League. And outside of Trout, Ohtani, and Anthony Rendon, I don't think anyone in that lineup really stacks up to what the Blue Jays have got. Then in the championship series, I've got the Blue Jays beating the White Sox. I just think they're a ridiculously strong team. I love what they've done this offseason, and I think they're going to beat the White Sox. I have them beating the White Sox in 6 games, and then I've got the Dodgers beating the Braves in 7 games. I think it's going to be a crazy series, but I think Freddie Freeman's going to get his revenge, and I think he's going to beat the Braves. And so it'll be a Blue Jays and Dodgers World Series, very similar to Giraffe Neck Mark. And unlike him, I've got the Dodgers winning. The Dodgers winning in 6 games. I think their lineup is just so strong from top to bottom. It's got some good bench pieces as well. And then I think their pitching is good enough again to stack up to the Blue Jays. But I think it'll be a great series. The Dodgers will prevail in 6 games in. And I got Trey Turner winning World Series MVP. So now I'll move on to my award predictions, and we'll start off with the National League Rookie of the Year. There are some good options. So you got Hunter Green, who I think is a good option for it. He'll be starting off in the majors. I think O'Neill Cruz, based on the bookmakers, was the favorite, but he appears to be starting at AAA, so I think that's going to hurt his chances. Joey Bart will be getting a full chance at major league level, so I think he's a bit of a sleeper pick. But my pick's going to be Seiya Suzuki. I think he's going to quickly adapt to the major league level, and you just look at his stats, his lifetime stats in Japan. He's a lifetime 309 hitter with a 402 on-base percentage and a 541 slugging with 189 home runs and 621 RBIs in nine Japanese seasons. And then last year he hit 317 with 38 home runs and an OPS of over 1,000. I think he's too good a player to struggle at the major league level, and I think he's going to be a huge contributor to the Cubs. So yeah, he's definitely going to be my pick for Rookie of the Year in the National League. In the American League, well, if Wander Franco was still eligible, I would definitely be picking him. But, yeah, he's obviously not. Riley Green would have been my pick then, but he is currently injured, so he won't be starting in the majors. I don't think Adley Rushman's also starting in the majors, so they would have been my picks. So I'm really left with Bobby Witt Jr. He had an amazing spring training. In the 10 games that he did play in spring training, he had a slash line of a 407 average, 448 on base percentage, and a 741 slugging percentage. And then last year across the minor leagues, so he played in both AA and AAA, he had 33 home runs and 97 RBIs from the shortstop position with a 290 batting average, 361 on base percentage, and a 576 slugging percentage to go along with 29 stolen bases, so he can do it all. And I think he's going to adapt pretty quickly to the major league level and, like Seiya Suzuki, be a contributor immediately at major league level. So then we'll move on to my Cy Young pick. There are so many good pitchers in the National League. Corbin Burns, if he can particularly get his innings up a bit more, last year he only pitched 167 innings, still won the Cy Young, but I think Brewers fans will be hoping he can get up to something like the 180 innings range. Then Woodruff's another good pick, Rodon, Max Scherzer. There's so many good pitchers in the National League. But I'm going to go with Jacob deGrom. I'm banking on him pitching in 25 games, and I think if he pitches in 25 games, he'll win the Cy Young pretty easily. He's already won 2 of them, and last year in the 15 starts that he made, where he pitched in only 92 innings, he had a 7-2 record with a minuscule 1.08 ERA and had an ERA plus of 373, where league average is 100. This guy is an absolute freak when he's on the mound. I'm just hoping he can stay somewhat healthy this year because, yeah, as I said, I think if he pitches in 25 games, he's almost a shoo-in for the Cy Young. So I'm banking on that happening. Then in the American League, for winning the Cy Young, for my sleeper pick is Jose Berrios. He may or may not be a sleeper pick, but yeah, I'm really liking him this year. I think he's going to have a great year. He isn't my pick though. There are so many other good options. There's a lot of good ones for the White Sox. Giolito was my pick last year, and he struggled a little bit based off the expectations that he had going into the season. So I think he's a candidate. Another candidate is Eduardo Rodriguez. I really like that pickup for Detroit, and now that he's out of Fenway, I expect his numbers to improve. But for me, I think this is the year where Garrett Cole gets it done. I think he's going to win the Cy Young. He's placed in the top 5 each of the past 4 seasons, and he's had, I believe, two second-place finishes. So I think this year is going to be the year where he gets it done. Since 2018, he's led the American League in pitching F4 with 20.1 wins, and has had a 2.85 ERA over that time, which is second in the American League, with a ridiculous strikeouts per 9 innings of 12.67. So yeah, I think this is the year where he's going to get it done. For National League MVP, again, many great options. I think Juan Soto is the clear favorite, but then you got other ones like Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, Bryce Harper to potentially repeat. But my sleeper pick, who I think I've picked for MVP before and hasn't quite happened, but this is the year I think it's going to happen. I've gone with Paul Goldschmidt. And part of the reason I have the Cardinals finishing in first place is that I think he's going to have an absolutely monster year the entire year. So last year he didn't struggle in the first half of the year, but if you really look at his second half numbers, he had a 330 batting average, a 402 on base percentage, and a 618 slugging percentage, which is good for an OPS of over 1,000, and he had a runs created plus of a weighted runs created plus of 170 to go along with 18 home runs and 54 RBIs. So that was a monster second half of the year. And then last year he had a 6.1 B-WAR. So I really believe that he's going to have an absolutely monster year throughout, and he's going to lead the Cardinals to the first place finish in the National League Central. So hence he's my first place MVP in the National League. And then in the American League, I'm just going to go out and say it. I've gone with a really boring one. I'm going with Shohei Ohtani again. There's nobody who does what he does on a baseball field. I don't think he's quite going to have the year that he had last year. I think that's too much to expect. We had an OPS plus of 158 with 46 home runs, 26 stolen bases, and then had a 3.18 ERA in 130 innings. I think that may be too much to expect. But even if he has 75% of that production, he's still the best player in baseball. What he does, it's just incredible. In my opinion, he's the best sportsman in the world. But unfortunately, I think the only thing that might hurt him is, when someone does have an MVP-like season the year before or an MVP season, they sort of get judged a little bit harshly. We've seen it in other sports where, Giannis was the two-time MVP in basketball, and then arguably could have won it another year, but voting sort of went against him because he had already won it. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Shohei Ohtani. But yeah, I just think if he has a season that closely resembles what he did last year, or even 75% of that, there's no way he shouldn't win the MVP, because I think, what the wins above replacement stat is really going to back him in. So yeah, those are my picks for MVP, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, and then my World Series pick. It'll be interesting to see how close I am to them at the end of the year. But yeah, opening day is here tomorrow. Can't wait for that. How good is it that baseball's back?